Hey, it's Michelle coming to you with some kitchen inspiration. I am so excited that we have this product on sale this week for Black Friday because let me tell you, it is my favorite thing in my kitchen. This is our deluxe multi-cooker. I absolutely love this thing. It changed the way I cook. It made my life so much easier. I wish I'd had it years before. So I'm going to show you all the different settings here. So sear is when you want to saute your peppers, onions, and garlic. Okay, so you leave the lid off to do that, and or you brown your ground beef or brown your pot roast. Okay, that's what sear is. Egg is for hard-boiled eggs and egg bites, and we have an egg bites mold. They taste. I would say they taste like Starbucks, but honestly, I think they taste better, probably because they're fresher and they're softer. They're not rubbery. I love my egg bites in here. It's so easy to make. And the egg bite mold is also on sale, 20% off. Poultry setting, I probably use the most. I can put a couple of chicken breasts in there, turn it on. In 15 minutes, I have chicken that I can shred up and put in a taco, in a salad, in chicken salad. I also use it to make my Chipotle type meal. So I put in a couple chicken breasts, a can of corn, a can of black beans, and a cup of salsa. And then on top of that, in this bowl, which is also on sale, this is the ceramic pot, I put a cup and a half of rice and a cup and a half of water. You can see that little stand in the bottom. So the chicken and the beans and the corn and all go underneath the stand. Then the rice and the water goes in here. You do want to put this lid on, but I can't do it with one hand. So you put that lid on, and then you turn it on to that poultry setting, and in 15 minutes, it makes me a complete chicken burrito bowl, okay? It's absolutely amazing. I add a little cilantro and lime juice to my rice. It tastes just like you're at Chipotle, but for the price of one meal at Chipotle, I could feed my whole family. So I absolutely love that. Also, it'll do a whole chicken in a half an hour, which to me is unbelievable. I even did a frozen chicken in there one time, and it took 45 minutes, and it was so overcooked that when I went to take it out, all of the carcass came up. I mean, all of the skin and the meat came off, and it left the carcass in here. So in way less than an hour, it'll do a whole chicken. It does my rice in the bowl with my chicken thighs underneath it with teriyaki sauce in 9 minutes. That's one of my daughter's favorite foods, and it's so simple to make. Beef, pork, that's one of the best settings on here too. And I'll tell you why. I can take a boneless pork loin. I'll go to Aldi. I'll buy a 5-pound boneless pork loin. I'll cut it up into pieces, throw it in here with a cup of water and a tablespoon of salt. And in 35 minutes, yes, 35 minutes on this beef pork setting, I have pulled pork. So I could take that 5 pounds, separate it into 3 bowls, and put, Sweet Baby Ray's on one, or our sweet onion sauce, which I absolutely love, on that one, and serve that on pretzel rolls, so we have barbecue style, shredded chicken. Shredded pork. Then I could take the second one and put some Carolina barbecue sauce on it and serve it with some coleslaw and, that mustardy sauce. So that's a second meal. And the third meal, I can roll it into some enchiladas with some green sauce, or put it in a salad, or put it on a soup, or make a chicken and waffle sandwiches with it. So in 35 minutes, I can make 3 meals for the week. I love that. I think that's the best thing ever. Also, the beef setting. So I'll do my mom's beef stew in here. She used to cook it for a million hours on the stovetop, right? And I used to do that when I was first married. And a lot of times I would go to eat it and the meat was still tough, and then I was mad. So now I put it in here and I set it for 65 minutes. So 1 hour and 5 minutes, and the meat is butter soft every time. It's absolutely perfect, my beef stew. I do a lot of pot roasts in here, 65 minutes. Perfect. If you've never had Mississippi pot roast, go Google it, because honestly, I put that in here. It's so freaking good. It's unbelievable. I also do that setting. I also use for spare ribs. So you can just kind of circle them, spiral them, stick them in, add your sauce. Of course, you always have to add at least a cup of liquid to get the steam. And in 1 hour, I can make fall off the bone ribs, okay? Seafood. This setting, I don't use a lot, honestly, because mostly I use my seafood on the stovetop or on the grill, but I will steam my shrimp in here. It takes only 4 minutes for frozen shrimp, and they come out perfect. Just take the frozen shrimp, toss them with some Old Bay. I put them in here in the basket so they're not sitting in the water, so they don't lose the Old Bay. And for 4 minutes, I have perfect steamed shrimp, so that's great for that. White rice. So this setting is good for a couple things. I can make 10 cups of white rice. Rather than using this little, thing for 3 cups, I can make a big batch of white rice or brown rice if I'm having a crowd. But what I use this setting for mostly is risotto. I used to tell my family risotto was company food because it's so hard to make on the stovetop and it's so easy to ruin. I burned it multiple times because I don't have the patience to stand there for an hour and stir it, right? Now I put it in here with all the ingredients, the peppers, the onions, the garlic, the rice, the broth, and some raw chicken. And I throw it all in there and I hit this setting, which is 4 minutes. So in 14 minutes, because it takes 10 minutes to heat up, I have perfect risotto. I open it up, I add my cheeses, and it's ready to eat. And it's absolutely amazing, and it's so delicious. It's kind of ridiculous. So now we eat risotto a lot. Whole grains, steel cut or overnight oats in just a couple of minutes. That, to me, is unbelievable. Quinoa, couscous, brown rice, all those kinds of things. Millet, farro, anything you guys are doing there. Soup, self-explanatory. Does a really good job on soup. Beans. Beans, I need to explain to you. Beans out of a bag, dry beans, in less than an hour. So my comfort food is my grandma's pasta fazool. In Maryland, they call that pasta e fagioli, right? Which means pasta and beans, right? So the way we make that is you take a bag of Great Northern beans, the dry ones, and you soak them for 24 hours, and then you boil them for an hour, and then you add all your other ingredients, and then you cook them all day. So it's a 36-hour adventure to make pasta fazool, right? But pasta fazool to me is comfort food. What does that mean? If I'm having a bad day, I want to eat pasta fazool, right? I can't wait 36 hours. Well, I'm so excited I don't have to wait 36 hours anymore. Now I can take those dry beans out of the bag with no soaking, dump them right in here, add my water, my garlic, oregano, whatever. I forgot what else goes in it. Oh, tomato sauce in there. I add everything except for the noodles, and I put it on for 40 minutes. So it takes about 50 minutes, so 1 hour. And I open them up. My beans are cooked every time. Then I add my noodles and I switch it back to sear with the lid off, and it cooks my noodles right in there. And in 1 hour, I have my comfort food ready to eat. It's the most amazing thing. I also do it with black beans and rice, Cuban style, or black bean soup. I do it with split peas. I do it with black-eyed peas. I do it with the New Orleans style red beans and rice. You can do any kind of beans in here. Or that 15 bean soup you get in the bag. If you've ever seen that Goya 15 bean soup in the bag, I didn't know what to do with that, but it has a recipe on the back. All I do is I throw it in here and I set it for 50 minutes with the ingredients that are on the back of the bag, and it's absolutely delicious. You want to talk about a cheap meal for your family. If you're struggling with grocery bills right now, feeding your family beans, it's healthy, it's low fat, it's got tons of protein, and you can feed the whole family for like $1.50, okay? So that's the way to do it. Dessert, I use this to make cheesecake. It's amazing. You can also use it to make creme brulee. There's a chocolate pudding recipe. And one of the pieces that's also on sale right now is the fluted cake pan. We're not allowed to say bunt, we're not allowed to call it a bunt, but it's a bunt pan it's made for this size piece, and it makes an amazing pumpkin cheesecake, bundt cake, or chocolate cheesecake bundt cake in here in no time. It's so delicious. Steam is my veggie setting. This will do any kind of veggies, but my favorite thing to do in here is things like squash. Take an acorn squash, cut it in half and scoop out the seeds, drop it in here with a cup of water. In 10 minutes, it peels out of the shell so simply, like you won't believe how easy it is. You'll do it on accident when you're trying to take it out. And then I'll mash it up with some cinnamon, sugar, and butter and tell my family it's mashed potatoes. It's sweet potatoes. It's so easy, so good. So you can feed them all different kinds of squash very cheaply, very easily. In 12 minutes, it'll do a spaghetti squash. In 10 minutes, it'll do a butternut squash. So I do that with all the different kinds of squashes. Slow cook, 4 hours on high, 8 hours on low, okay, either way. Sous vide. Sous vide is another whole video to go over, but basically sous vide is how the high-end steak houses make your steaks perfectly medium rare from the end and the tip all the way to the bone. You don't have a well done piece and a medium piece and a rare piece. You have it pink all the way across if you want, okay? That's the way you get a perfect steak. That's what I use it for. People sous vide all kinds of stuff, chicken, pork, vegetables. I really only use it for a really expensive cut of meat. Does an excellent job though. Then we have a yogurt setting. So anybody who really is concerned about what's in their food and wants to make their own yogurt or has allergies, excellent job it does on that. Sanitize. So you can sanitize your canning jars. You don't want a can in here. It won't do that, but it will sanitize them. It'll sanitize baby bottles. So I love this thing. The other thing it'll also do is it has, it switches to warm as soon as it's done. So if I'm not right nearby when the food is finished, it will go to warm and it never overcooks the food. Because this is an encapsulated system and the steam doesn't get out, the food doesn't dry out and it doesn't overcook. It could sit for hours on warm and it's great. It also has a delay cook function. I never really used that because of the warm function, but you can do delay cook also, so it'll start in a couple hours after you put the food in. But my favorite thing that this does, and I kind of mentioned that earlier, is that you can put frozen food in here and it cooks them from frozen. So sometimes I go out to my freezer and I grab some chicken breasts that have been in a Tupperware container and they're square, right? And I stick them in here with my carrots and my celery and my onions and my broth and my spices, and I put it on soup and it makes chicken noodle soup. Well, I add the noodles later, but it makes my chicken noodle soup from frozen chicken. So this is great if you're like me and you forget to take things out for dinner and all of a sudden it's 4:30, 5 o'clock and you haven't defrosted anything for dinner. Throw the meat right in here frozen. Just add about 10 or 15 more minutes and it will cook it right from frozen perfectly every time. So this used to be $2.99. This season it went down to $2.29, so that's a bargain. And this week only for Black Friday, it's on sale for $183. So you want to grab one of these while you can at such a good deal. You could actually get the multi-cooker plus the rice bowl that's in there. You can use that for potatoes and stuff too, but I call it the rice bowl. The ceramic pot, the egg bite molds, and the fluted pan. You can get the whole entire thing for less than it is normally. Okay, so this is a great deal. I'm going to drop a link in the comments. I know you're going to want to have this in your kitchen. It changed the way we make dinner. This would have been such a great item when my kids needed help with homework and I used to spend hours fighting with my ADHD son over homework, right? And I couldn't make dinner because I was busy with his homework. I could have put the dinner in here before he got off the school bus, and while we were doing homework, it would have been doing its thing and we would have had a much nicer dinner every night. So thanks for joining me. Make sure you follow me on Michelle's Kitchen Inspiration on YouTube because that's where all the videos are stored of all the recipes. Have a great day.